Hey everyone, welcome back to the Data Pour. I'm Steve McLaughlin, head of data at EPON Technologies. I'm here at Industrial Taphouse West, and my guest is Lindsay Helbing, Director of Software Engineering for Loyalty at Capital One. Thank you for coming,
Hi,
Lindsay.
Steve. It's great to see you.
After you. So Lindsay, do you want to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Lindsay Helbing. I'm a director in the loyalty, card rewards loyalty space for Capital One. I lead their central engineering teams.
Right.
So when you think about your credit card rewards, a lot of people think about earning and then using their rewards.
Right.
I sort of lead everything that sits in between those two functions for Capital One.
Very cool. How long have you been with Capital One?
So I've been with Capital One just about 8 years,
Okay.
And I started in April of 2017, and
Very cool.
I'm going strong.
Very cool. Do you spend a lot of time in the McLean office? Are you mostly in Richmond? Or?
Primarily based out of Richmond, but
Yeah.
I do try to get up to McLean once a week. I usually go up on Tuesdays to
Great.
see my teams up there.
Oh, very cool. Gotcha. And what brought you into technology? Have you been in technology your whole career, or did you make a pivot into it? Or?
Yeah, I have been in technology my whole career.
Okay.
So my undergrad in college was in business information technology.
Okay, very cool.
And then I went right into a tech field right out of college,
Gotcha.
mostly in the DBA space when DBAs
Okay.
were more
Yeah,
of a,
when that was a
more
thing still,
Yes,
yeah.
And my first big project was working on a pretty big data migration effort, and I was based in Northern Virginia at that time.
Oh, very cool. So data's been kind of in your bloods from the very beginning.
It has been,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
When did you realize how important data was?
Oh, I think way back in college, I definitely really enjoyed the data classes that I took and the DBA
Sure.
classes that I took, and really recognized that without that underlying data piece, basically nothing else works. And I really enjoyed doing that foundational work.
Yeah, very cool. And it's shifted so much. I mean, we even joked about like DBA is not really a thing anymore. I mean, kind of, there are still, but I mean, what do you think's been the biggest like upsets in that world, the biggest changes?
I think two things. One, the shift to the cloud has been able to unlock a ton of potential on how we use and leverage our data.
Right.
And two, just the acceleration of our data creation is it's almost inconceivable some days.
It's crazy.
The number of the amount of data that we're producing on a
Right.
day-to-day basis as a society.
Yeah.
How do we leverage that data? How do we use it? All the legalities around it. It's all pretty fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm sure in a highly regulated industry, that's something you have to think about all the time.
Every day, yes.
Yeah, does that keep you up at night?
Yeah. Well, yeah, sometimes.
yeah, understood. All right, well, this is the Data Pour. We talked about data. Let's talk about our beverages. What's your drink of choice today?
I am drinking a Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager. It's a local-ish beer.
Local-ish. It's a great spot. I love the Devil's Backbone.
Oh, I know.
Oh, it's one of the coolest locations.
And they have all that camping you can do.
Yes.
It's awesome. And there's some good off-roading in that area as well.
Okay, hold on. I didn't know you were into off-roading.
Yes,
okay,
I am.
we just have a whole new thing to go down. But first, what am I drinking? Voodoo Ranger Juicy Hazy. We were just talking about how IPAs have taken over Richmond, and I resisted for some time, but eventually resistance is futile, so here I am drinking an IPA. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Oh, that's good. On this day, we were talking about we've got the 2-week stretch of time in Virginia where it is absolutely lovely to be outside.
Yeah.
Where it gets scorching and after the pollen has coated everything.
Yes,
So
definitely. We're in the
home-
sweet spot.
Yeah, we're in the sweet spot right now. It's great. Talk to me a little bit about AI. Obviously, data professionals, we're hearing nothing about. Everyone's hearing everything about AI all the time. What's new in your world with it?
Yeah, I think that, there's just such a massive amount of potential for AI. We're almost in this kind of like wild west if we could use it for anything mode. For the area that I'm specifically focused in within Capital One, I think the use of AI is really helping to accelerate our software engineering activities. That's where we're getting really like a huge value out of it.
That developer productivity stuff is cool.
It really is. We've had several teams who've built brand new APIs, things they've never done before in fractions of the time it would have taken them previously by leveraging Copilot and other AI tools.
Right.
And it's been really awesome to see that acceleration of not just our software engineering capabilities, but our delivery of things that we can get to the customer much faster than we could have previously.
Yeah, it's really cool. What about, I think a lot about data management, and do you feel like because people are now understanding the benefit of AI, and I feel like there's a general understanding now with people who maybe previously didn't, they understand why good data is so important. Do you see like a new renewed pressure or a renewed interest in data management as a result?
I definitely do.
Yeah.
So there's a huge interest in really defining what our data is,
Sure.
why it's important, which aspects are important, so that way we can feed it into these AI models and get a huge benefit out of it. There's immense potential for personalization and like customer experience, like elevating that for people by leveraging AI and doing that very quickly. But as we all know, the old adage, garbage in, garbage out,
True.
still is still applicable even in today's AI world.
Yeah, that's
So.
right. It's a wild west there too, and I'm wondering, I haven't really seen it yet, but I'm wondering when AI is going to solve a lot of the traditionally very hard data management challenges. Like even things like a business glossary, those take time, they take effort to develop. Data catalogs, I feel like all of these are ripe for innovation.
They really are.
AI.
I think there's definitely a lot of vetting we still need to do with the models, but especially with things like data aging and the data quality piece of the infrastructure and the architecture. I think there's a huge potential for AI to really elevate that and make that a much easier job and actually a much more secure situation for a lot of data ecosystems.
Yeah, that makes sense. So outside of data, let me ask you this. I know you are involved in the Women in Technology here in Richmond, and I think in DC as well. Talk to me about it's an awesome organization. I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, Women in Tech is fantastic. So it's really an organization about supporting women in technology fields. Often that is software engineering, so there's a huge focus in that space, but it really can be other general tech fields. And my specific area of focus is around communication. So I really enjoy engaging folks on how they elevate their communications as engineers.
Right.
As we know, we can encounter some pretty complex technical challenges.
Yeah.
And there's always a challenge in how do we communicate that to the business? How do we communicate value? How do we communicate ROI? And I'm really get excited to help folks understand how to more effectively communicate their ideas. Both to their leadership, their peers, to the business, to make sure that they can actually get those ideas across.
Oh, that's great. Do you have any general tips for people who are watching now?
I mean, I would say that your ideas are only as good as your ability to communicate them, to paraphrase Bob Iger. So I think that's really the key. And I think a lot of people tend to think that's a soft skill that they will just fall into, but it's really something that needs to be developed, especially for folks who have very solid hard skills.
Yes,
need to focus
totally
on
agreed.
both.
And they are skills you can learn. Like it's not just innate. I know personally, I went through presentation coaching many years ago, and I mean, it changes. It changes your outlook. Like you see other presentations, you know what makes them good and not good, and I use that training every day of my life now.
Yeah, I would definitely let people know too, like if you see somebody who's communicating well or doing something, think about what they're doing and really take things away from that, because everybody will communicate a little differently, so you have to find what works for you.
Right, yeah, that's great. And when did you get your start with the Women in Tech?
I've been involved with Women in Tech since I started with Capital One.
Okay.
So we started initially with some lean-in circles. If you're not familiar with lean-in, those are groups that, small groups of women in the workplace who kind of get together to talk about issues in the workplace, things that they may not be able to talk about with all of their colleagues.
Totally understand, yeah.
And so we did that for quite a few years, and the Women in Tech has grown exponentially since then. And so I've been leading in there to help with giving talks, and there's been a lot of events that we've held to help with development and career growth for women in the technology field.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And what's the trajectory of the organization? Do you see a lot continued growth? I'm sure AI is growing it now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that we're just continuing to expand like the skill set of applicable skill sets for folks across the industry. And I think that for women in tech, especially with AI, right, a lot of times when we get into these very like deep technical topics, it can be a little bit, the industry can be a little bit daunting, especially for women coming into that. So having other women who are in roles in leadership, who, having people who look like you in those types of roles is very, very important. And having mentors who can help guide you through issues that may be a little bit more unique to women in the workplace is super important as well.
That makes sense. Is there a particular mentor in your life that you think back on? One figure who really helped guide your career?
I think it was really an amalgamation of a lot of people. I've definitely had some fantastic women mentors and leaders in my experience. Geeta Gopal, who's no longer with Capital One. She actually leads the cloud operations for the London Stock Exchange now.
Oh,
It's
cool.
pretty amazing.
Wow.
Girija Rao, who's the vice president at Capital One. My immediate vice president, Eve Young, has been a phenomenal mentor and supporter and advocate. I've also had some fantastic allies. My friend Jason Kellner was also always an ally to me, and always looking for opportunities to help support women in the workplace as well. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Well, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what are your predictions for AI? Maybe next 18 months. Let's be realistic. That's an eternity right now, but we've talked about developer productivity. I think that's really coming into maturity, but if you had a crystal ball, what do you think the next 18 months look like?
I think that AI is really going to become more and more ubiquitous in the software engineering world as far as development goes. So I think that we're going to start seeing like things completely written by AI, whereas right now it's more of a helper. I think we're going to start seeing that more autonomy of AI in that space. I think we're also going to start to see it really start to integrate even more in our day-to-day lives, more than we even realize. I think what we're seeing is AI is powering a lot of things behind the scenes that people don't realize day to day, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as time goes on.
Yeah, I agree. It's cool. So we are today at the Industrial Taphouse West. It's their second location.
That's
this
right.
is pretty far west outside of Richmond in a suburb. Are we technically Manikin-Sabot here?
We're pretty close. I think this is Centerville, but
Gotcha.
yeah, very close, right next to Manikin-Sabot in Goochland County.
Okay, and I think this is a place you're familiar with. This is the first time I've ever been here, so can you tell me a little bit about the place?
Sure. So it's been open for about a year, which was a welcome change and welcome addition to the community, as we only have a couple other restaurants in this area.
Right.
And it's the second location. As I said, we had I think they have the other location up in Ashland.
Okay.
And it's been great. They have a huge variety. The food is really good here, actually, too.
You got an appetizer before, and I was like, this is actually really good.
Yes, yeah. So
really
it's been great to have this option. It's also a kind of convenient location to short pump a little bit halfway for a lot of folks. So it's a nice meeting spot.
And you live out this way?
I do live in Goochland. Yeah, I'm on
gotcha.
the east end of
Cool.
Goochland. Yeah.
Do you go to the Goochland Drive-In Theater?
Yes, I have
It's
been.
like one of my favorite places on
Yeah.
earth.
One
It's
of my favorite things is we went and saw Jaws at the.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was so much fun. And we
That's
also
cool.
went and saw Goonies. I took my son. Yeah.
I think I might have seen Goonies there too. A while back they had it.
Going old school with the drive-in. Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's so
Their
much
drive-in
fun.
is great.
Yeah.
I was trying to explain to Catherine what a gooch dog is.
Oh.
Which is one of the craziest things you can order there for our viewers. That is a hot dog with macaroni and cheese on it and barbecue sauce.
Yes.
And it's as good as it sounds.
It's delicious.
So we did order something that was really delicious. We ordered some beer cheese fries.
Yeah.
And he came out and told us about how the cheese is all made from scratch and how they make it differently here, how they like mix in the beer after the fact. And do you know the story too? Do you already know?
It's really, I've read it. With the menu, but it's fantastic. And one of my favorite things here is they have a fried green tomato sandwich that is delicious.
Really good.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to try that. And I also saw that my wife is celiac, so she's gluten-free, and they do a lot of gluten-free stuff here, and it's all kind of from scratch, which is really cool too. Also, live music. Do you come see bands here ever?
They do have bands here sometimes. Yeah, it's really fun to come and just hang out and meet up with a friend or something, and they have live music.
Yeah, this seems like a really great space out here.
It is.
Pretty cool. I'm a little east, but close enough to where this actually does make sense. To get out of Short Pump is nice. So. Other hobbies into off-roading?
I am into off-roading. I have a 97 TJ, and I take that out to the west part of the state, maybe sometimes into West Virginia occasionally to do some off-roading.
Have you done the Canaan Loop in West Virginia before?
I have not done the Canaan Loop.
That's on my list. I've got my whole list of places I want to go.
Uwharrie in North Carolina is also on my list. But
where was it?
Uwharrie. It's another off-run in North Carolina.
Oh, cool. In January, I did there's a route called the South Carolina Adventure Route. It's 1,000 miles of circumference around South Carolina.
Oh, wow.
And they've basically just strung together all the so there's some on highway to get to places, and it was an absolute blast. You go along the coast, through the swamps, then you get up into the mountains, and because it was January, the beach was beautiful, and then the mountains were still covered in snow. So
That's awesome.
It was just fantastic. Loved it.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. I'm like brand new to it, and I accidentally fell into it. I wanted a truck, and they only had the 4x4 Ranger, and I was like, I don't even need that. I don't do anything off-roading. bought it, and then my friend was like, "So are you gonna do overlanding?"
Once you have the 4x4, you might as well use it.
I might as well. And now I'm like, oh my, this is the best hobby ever. Like,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Camping and off-roading. This is the two best things ever. It's so much fun.
I have a '97 TJ, so
that's so cool.
Jeep off-roading.
Yeah, that thing is way more capable than my Ranger. I'm sure of that. But I might have to hit you up for some good trails.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I've done a lot of the George Washington ones, but I've never even heard of Big Levels. Where is that?
It's out near Stewart's Draft.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool.
It's not even, you don't even quite get to 81 before you hop off.
Oh wow, that's a lot closer.
Yeah.
Cool. Last thing about this, then we'll get going. My wife and I, do you know Cape Lookout off the North Carolina coast?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's so cool. So it's south of OBX, but it's a barrier island.
Okay.
There's only a lighthouse and literally no other infrastructure, no roads.
Oh wow.
And there's one ferry per day, but you can drive all around it and camp
That's
on
cool.
it. So we're doing that over the weekend.
That'll
over
be fun.
Memorial Day weekend.
Oh wow, that'll be a lot of fun.
I'm so excited. One more hobby thing, and then I'll ask you a few more questions about
Okay.
your career. Roller derby.
Yes.
That's pretty badass.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've been skating with River City Roller Derby for about 4 years now.
Very cool.
And it is an absolute blast.
How'd you get into that?
You know, it was one of those post-pandemic things where I saw that they had an open orientation.
Yeah.
Things were just starting to open back up, and you know, I had been wanting to kind of get out and do something. We had moved to Richmond just before the pandemic.
Oh, gotcha.
So we were in here in this area for a lot of the lockdown portion.
Sure,
And I saw that, I said, God, you know, I'd been to a couple matches.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go check it out. And then it stuck.
That's really cool.
And now I'm a league president, I'm a rookie coach, and
love that.
all sorts of
Do
things.
you have a cool nickname?
I do have a derby name. It is Punky Bruiser.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
But yep, we're a travel team. We travel, but we also play a lot of games here at the convention center throughout the year as well.
That's awesome. Have you ever been seriously hurt?
I've bruised my tailbone pretty badly, and I also have had a sprained ankle, but luckily that's about it for me.
Have you ever seriously hurt anyone else?
Hopefully not. But we have had some serious injuries.
Yeah.
A lot of ankle and knee issues specifically. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool though. What a cool, what cool hobbies.
Oh, thank you.
Off-roading, roller derby. That's off the beaten path. That's pretty great. So talk to me about your career as well. Like are there any big things that you've done that you're like, that was maybe my proudest moment?
Yeah, I've had a couple of really great things. One, before I worked for Capital One, I was with the DoD for a very long time, and we had a pretty major data center move. We moved out of the traditional data center paradigm into kind of I would call a step up situation where it was more of a shared managed services situation.
Okay, gotcha.
And that was a huge shift for our systems. We own our systems end to end from development all the way up through the customer support pieces. So we had to migrate that entire thing, and that was done incredibly well. I would say pretty much came off without a hitch. It was one of the biggest migrations that the Navy, from a systems perspective, had supported, and that was really a proud moment for me.
That's very cool. I'm sure those multiple months and months of planning and execution, those things are tough. But here's a question that just occurred to me. I don't often ask people. I am a big believer in learning from failure or at least lessons learned. Is there a time that you're like, oof, this didn't work, but I really learned something valuable from this?
Yeah, there's definitely been a few times. We've had some automation opportunities in my previous role in Capital One that didn't quite pan out as well as I would have liked. Some opportunities for automating things at scale.
Right.
But what I learned about that effort, or what I learned from that effort, was really around the need to kind of bring people along when you're working in these big horizontal situations. Not everything can be done through mandate. Even if it's super valuable, sometimes it's difficult to get people to come along on that. And so we didn't quite drive that to the point that I would have hoped. But I took a ton of learning away from that, and also a ton of technical learning and how do we automate things maybe at slightly smaller scale, but still able to deliver good value. So that was definitely a learning moment.
Yeah, that's a great lesson learned. It's not always if you build it, people will come along.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
All the technical prowess in the world, still, if people don't understand it, don't see the value in it.
Yeah, I think that goes back to my earlier comment. If your ideas are only as good as your ability to bring people along with them, and I think in that case, that was a good learning for me.
Yeah, that's great. All right, well, I just have one last question, and you maybe have already started answering it, but if someone were just now coming into the world of technology, fresh college grads, and I actually know you work with college grads at Capital One, so what's the biggest piece of advice you can give them?
I would say that to be flexible in your career, so opportunities will come up and your career trajectory is not always going to be linear. So sometimes you really have to evaluate the opportunities as they come along and make a decision at that point. Sometimes it's more of like a worming, path to where you want to go.
Yes.
And I think really seizing on those opportunities when they present themselves is really key. And understanding that it's not going to be that straight path always.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you. Any closing thoughts here?
The data ecosystem is just getting more and more interesting over time, especially with the introduction of AI and how we're going to be able to leverage that. And I just think it's a really exciting time to be in the technology field with all this new emerging tech. So it's pretty cool.
It is really fun. It's a lot more fun than being a DBA.
Yes, yes.
Right? No offense to DBAs out there. That work is fun too.
No offense to DBAs, because I was one for a very long time. But it is pretty cool to really continue to expand our understanding and our learning of tech and kind of take that broader view.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you again, Lindsay. Appreciate you. Cheers.
Cheers.
Till next time, let's toast to knowledge and connection, one episode at a time.